Alright guys, welcome to my second competitive guide. Today's map is CP Gullywash, and like last time we're going to talk about holds, pushes, tricks, everything you can do on CP Gullywash. So let's get right into it. Yeah, exactly like last time we're going to talk about the holds first. So let me switch real quick to my mid perspective here. And we're gonna start with an offensive hold, an aggressive hold on Gullywash mid. So what do we have here? Let's say you're in the middle, no one dies, and you're just holding the point aggressively. What you want to do? You have your pocket and your demoman in choke area, you just guard the choke. I'm gonna switch in TF2 after this and show you how, but just, you know, these two heavy classes just cover the choke area, and the medic is basically behind, always buffing those two, so they can exchange hits with the enemy team in the choke. And the flank, you know, it's a really big map. It's not like Badlands, you know, you have a lot of space to cover. So you have your flank scout. I really like the flank scout just to sit on this fence if you don't go aggressive into big door. This area is called big door. You know, he can just spot as soon as someone comes around the corner. He can just spot that guy and go back. And then you have your roamer who just sits here, you know, is able to spam, and if he gets a buff he can go up close, but I can show you that after this as well. And then it's really important, they added a drop down to this map, I don't know, like a couple of years ago. So you have you need to have one scout to watch that area. Always just have one scout watch that area, because sometimes the enemy pushes through the drop down and you get completely surprised by that. So just always watch that with one scout. Really important. Okay, so let's switch to TF2 and I'm gonna show you how you hold that. Alright, let's say you hold this choke. So you're just sitting here with your demo man, you know, you just spam this angle all the time. Maybe you can juggle someone in, and then you have your soldier here as well. That's basically what you do. And you always, like Badlands, you always want to check this. You always want to watch into this, because you don't want the enemy to just come close and surprise you. Just always try to spot these guys. Okay. Had to stop the recording for a bit because the dog was so loud. Alright, yeah, and then the big door. You know, you have your soldier up here, just spotting things, and then your scout up there, and you can get your 300 HP buff and to go up close. You know, you just go around this corner and peek. And, you know, you try to. You know, sometimes you have, you know, you can hide up here, you can sit up here, so maybe you can get a guy, or you can just with your scout come around the corner and try to get this guy who's sitting down here or something. Yeah, that's like just some basic shit you can do, but always try to get a buff before you do that. So let me switch back to the guide. Alright, it's a pretty simple hold. It's just you have to be aware of the fact that you have to watch big door and the drop down. Just, it's three things you have to watch: choke, big door, and drop down. Okay, let me switch to the defensive hold on Gullywash mid. Open, there we go. So yeah, let's say you have a disadvantage. Everyone is up, but the enemy team has Uber and you don't. What do? So, as always, your medic has to be really far back. Like, he's just sitting around the choke area, healing people, but you always want to be able to get out. So, yeah, just be close to the choke area. And then you have one scout up close. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the flank scout or the pocket scout, and the job of this scout is just to spot people. You know, the enemy has an advantage, so they're probably gonna come in anytime soon. So you want to know where they come from. Are they gonna push from big door? Are they gonna push from choke? And as soon as the scout sees the medic or the medic beam, you can just tell the soldiers, and the soldiers, I really like to have at least one soldier up on the cap point, but you can definitely play with 2 soldiers there. It really depends on the HP, but if you have like buffs or at least 200 HP, just sit on the point and spam the choke. And your demoman can even spam pipes over there, so it's really hard for the medic to come in without popping his Uber. You can switch things up. You know, if you have 100% disadvantage, you can just hide one soldier around the corner, up here on this window thingy, you know, even under the point, and jump them if they come in. But if you have like 20 or 30% disadvantage, it's not worth it to sacrifice one soldier for the Uber. Just, you know, spam, make the enemy uncomfortable, and get in afterwards. Alright. So, never forget the second scout. He has to watch the drop down. Like, as always, just watch the drop down. And it's even more important, like last time on the offensive hold, because sometimes you don't have the scout in the choke area, because one scout is dead, for example, and you don't see the enemy coming in, and they just go into the drop down, come here, and surprise you by jumping you. So you need to have the scout in the valley area to spot the drop. And yeah. Try to set a sticky trap in the choke, or maybe big door. If you hold and point defensively, just always put a sticky trap if you can. Okay. Yeah, not much to talk about right here. So let's watch. Or let's try to find the second. There we go. All right. Yeah, we're going to talk about the second point on CP Gullywash now. So, offensive hold. You have your demo man and your pocket up close, choke area. Basically, like always. Just, you know, always watch into that so you don't get surprised. Yeah, it's the reverse thing, basically, for what I told you before. If you hold the mid, just always look into that. If your medic up there as well. And, yeah, how do you hold the flank? You know, you're really far away from your medic and your heavy classes, so you have to be very, very cautious on the flank. I think I have another picture of that for the, yeah, there it is. So how do you hold the flank? I really like having one scout on the slope, because he can spot people if they come in without being on a risk to die, so you can just always get out, run back to the health pack in the lobby, and then you have the soldier basically just around the corner. You don't want to go in close as a soldier, especially not if you're like on 200 HP or less, because they can just, you know, come around the corner and kill you. Teams often do that they push like big door with demo man soldiers and just try to get a pick there. So just always be on that corner around this pillar so you can spam. So yeah, that's how you hold the big door area. But it's not that easy actually, because I'm gonna switch back to the other thing. Okay, so let's say the enemy decides to push big door. You know, you can't just like give them big door, because they're just gonna push in, get behind you in the lobby, and you're like sitting with your heavy classes and your medic and choke and not doing anything. So you need to rotate if they do that. If they, you know, if you spot the medic big door and you know they're gonna come in, you need to have the demo man rotate back to big door, and the soldier can, for example, jump up this this house, this wood thingy, and just, you know, hold by himself for like 5 seconds, and you just, with a medic, you rotate as well. You just go like on this corner, and you heal your scout, you heal your roamer, and you just make it really hard for the enemy to come like to cross this line. Like, they can come into big door area, most definitely. You can't really negate that fact, but yeah, you can at least try to disable them from, you know, crossing this line with your demo man up close and your medic up close, so you can Uber if the enemy tries to force you. So yeah, always rotate with the demo man and the medic if you know the enemy comes from big door. and one scout has to help the pocket choke. I mean, the soldier can hold choke really easily if he's up here, if he jumps up here. But sometimes, you know, a scout runs through and he spots the soldier and he's just pistoling him down. So it can be really helpful if you have one scout, you know, like helping the soldier who's left on choke. So yeah, just CP Gullywash is really rotation intensive. Keep that in mind always. Okay, let's talk about an defensive hold. You have an Uber disadvantage, and you want to still make things hard for the enemy. So what do? Your medic, your demoman, and your pocket are on the balcony. You know, like the area before, close to Riverside. I don't really know what you call it in English, but yeah, let's call it balcony for now. And your soldier can spam the choke, and the demo man can spam the choke. You can even spam Victor if they come in. It's like, it's just high ground, you know. You make things hard for the enemy. You want to have one scout up close, so he can spot people on the choke. He can tell your combo if the enemy comes through choke, and they can spam there. And then you have like your two guys on Victor. Again, you have your soldier close. You know, you maybe go a little bit further back so you can like get back to the health pack, or your medic can heal you. Like you have to go a little bit closer then, and you one scout just spotting people there. And yeah, if the enemy gets into the site, it's really hard to contest it, because they're just gonna get on the point and start to cap it, and you're forced to do anything. So yeah, if the enemy gets in, you're in a bad spot usually. So just make things hard for the enemy while you can. Okay, not much to this. Alright, let's talk about the last. Gullywash last is probably my favorite last point, because it's not as close corner as Badlands is, for example. It's just wide open. You can do a lot of things here. So how do you hold that? You know, the enemy has lobby. They are close to getting in. How do you hold the area around last? You have your pocket up close to the shutter door, so he can either watch the shutter door or below. It's a really good spot just to you know, hold those two angles. And you have your Roma on the balcony. So you have you can notice that if you do this hold, you're really close to the enemy. You know, you're not just far back, and that's because you want to hold the entrances. You just want to make things hard. You go close corner with soldiers, which is always good. And yeah, I think it's the most effective hold, especially if you have Uber versus Uber situation. So your demo man is basically in charge of Riverside, so he spots people. You know, if people just run into water behind the point, he can say that. If the push comes in, you know, he has a sticky trap up there or up here on the balcony, so the enemy has to use his Uber. You have to be a little bit careful, because sometimes you're really close to the enemy and you don't want to die. So, you know, always get a heal. Blub, my old demo man, always came back to me like, got a heal, came up here. You know, if the buff fades, he came back and I buffed him again. So always do that. Yeah, and then you have like one scout who's just watching below. I like that because you can spot the sniper. You're rather close to your medic, so you can help out on the left side. But yeah, as always, it's scout on the last is not really that good. So just spot people. And yeah, try to get an off class. Your second scout should go heavy or pyro. You can go heavy. You could go pyro and go close right, so you can blast people back if they push through Riverside. You can, you know, sit on the balcony. I don't know, probably not that good, but this is the usual spot for a pyro, just to blast people back and you know, deny the enemy Uber. You can also go NG if you have the time. You know, build a level 3 sentry just to turtle makes things really hard for the enemy. Or you can go heavy and jump on this ring or on the left side just to be a big tank, you know. They are, yeah, heavy and pyro, probably my favorite off classes on Gullywash last. Yeah, and one thing, last time we talked about CP Badlands and how important it is to have stickies on the point. It's not that important on CP Gullywash because the point caps much slower, so you can afford to have a sticky track somewhere else. But sometimes, you know, if you know that there's people in water, you are forced to do stickies on the point. So yeah, always tell your team where your stickies are and if you have control of the point. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to the game and show you some tricks you can do, because you know, sometimes the enemy just doesn't push. He goes for sniper and twice and tries to fuck you up. So basically what you can do, I told you this pocket soldier is here and your Roma is up here, so you can buff your Roma and then double peek the lobby. Your Roma goes in from balcony, you go in from here and just try to get a guy here. Usually you have like one guy holding this area and one guy holding the lower area, so you can, if the upper guy is like too close, you can just pick him off really easily. So just yeah, go for that double peek if you can, if nothing happens. Yeah, then you can always go for sniper. You know, you have this angle where you go on the stairs and spot this. If the enemy just comes in lobby and doesn't really have control of anything yet, you can go up here and snipe this sideline. Yeah, a lot of cool things you can do on the defense, and yeah, just try to cover everything. Okay, I think we talked about all the holds, so let's talk about some pushes. I'm just gonna stay in TF2 for a bit. So how do you, let's say, where do we start? Okay, how do you push from middle onto second point? This is like a really close spot, close area. You know, if you go in like 6 versus 6, you probably have to use your Uber right here and go in. So it's probably not the best idea to just go in Uber versus Uber like this. Yeah, if you, I mean, you can just try to go in like without the enemy spotting you and then surprise him, but that's probably not gonna work. So I'm a much bigger fan of pushing big door, at least trying to get a pick big door. So you come in, you know, your medic drops down here, your demoman comes, your soldier comes, you have like one guy in choke, you know, a scout or someone, and then you just peek this corner with like a lot of guys. And sometimes with inexperienced players, you have like people holding this, you know, just too close, or this, and you just die. And then you have a pick and you can run behind the enemy, you can, you know, just try to get control of this, jump up here, get on the point, and make it really hard for the enemy to kill you and also defend the point. So yeah, just I think it's the best way to go to get into second point, if you just peek big door and try to get a pick there. Alright. And even if that doesn't work, you know, you see the soldier being so far back and you don't get that pick, you can just, you know, cancel your push. You can just stop and go back to choke. The enemy won't really punish that, because they get the call that you're a big door and they are trying to deny you. They're not gonna come and choke meanwhile. Alright, so yeah, how do you push last? Let's say you have control of this lobby area and you want to go onto last. Which scenario do we pick here? Let's say the enemy has Uber and you have Uber. Both teams have Uber. So what you can do is you can just jump one soldier up here. You know, you have like one guy spamming from here, one guy spamming from here to do a little bit of a distraction, and then you just jump in and try to force a medic. It's like often you have like a sticky trap here, so you have to clear that first. But yeah, Uber versus Uber, it's really hard. You might want to just try to force a medic. Another thing you can do is, you know, you Uber in, So you go close left, you Roma first, you pocket second, you Uber the first guy, Uber the second guy, both soldiers jump in, you force the medic, and then you get out again. Like, you're not doing anything, you're just forcing the medic with your double soldiers, and then you get out again, and then you re-push non-Uber versus non-Uber. So that's basically a tactic you can use on every map. Just force the Uber, get out, don't lose anyone, and re-push. And another famous push is the Monster Munch. The Monster Munch, you want to have like one soldier on Pain Train, for example. One soldier jumps in and he goes onto the ring. So you have high ground, it's a really good spot against everyone holding on this side. And the other soldier jumps onto the point and starts to get cap time. Meanwhile, your demo man comes in from this area and sticks the point for you. And your medic, I mean, you're Ubering your soldiers through, you're just running here, and often the enemy is forced to go onto the point to block it, basically, because the soldier is capping it with a pain train twice as fast as usual. And then you, like, you know, you use your last bit of Uber to flash your soldiers in here. Sometimes you can like block a lot of damage with that because the enemy is gonna come in. It's really predictable, and then you're in a really good spot because you have your Uber on the point, the enemy is like close to the point, and your demo man can do a lot of work from this side. Your scouts can come in from balcony, from shutter, from down there. So basically the point of Monster Munch is to draw the attention to the point, or towards the point, and go from there. So that's a really good last push. You can always go from shutter door as well. I'm not really a big fan of that. I really like going riverside because your soldiers can jump in more effectively. And if you have a big Uber advantage, you know, you cap second, you have 100% Uber advantage, you just go through lower. So you go, you know, you cap this, then you go here because there's no sniper sideline. You come here with a demo man, with a scout, you just Uber through here. The scout rushes on the point, the demo man can kill someone or sticky the point, and you just cap it. So yeah, if you have a big advantage, you can use that because it's just a fastest way to get onto last. Okay. I think we're almost done. We can talk about mid fights. Yeah, let's talk about mid fights. All right. So the big decision you have to make is where your demo man comes from. So there's two ways. There's a choke rollout where the demo man comes through choke, and the big door rollout. The choke rollout has a big advantage because you come here, you're up here, and you're really fast, and the enemy big classes come from big door, so you can put stickies up there and you know, fuck the pocket up, you know, fuck the medic up if you're really fast. So if you have a good rollout and you know what you're doing, I think it's the best way to get control of mid, because you also have high ground and you just spam that really hard. The other way is basically you come through big door, and if you come through big door, you have lower ground, but you're not as vulnerable as you are on top of that, because sometimes scouts just rush you or soldier bombs in. So you're closer to your medic, and then you can you have the option to go right side. You don't really have that option if your demo man is choke. So if you do the choke rollout and your demo man, you know, he's choke, he's spamming big door, your medic comes onto the mid side. Your soldier jumps up to that to help your demo man, and you just run up this elbow. You just run up here. Sometimes you can take a scout with you if he's hurt, or if he doesn't if he's not fighting at all or something. You can just run up here, you know, use that time to heal someone up, and then go from there. Then you can, like, your Roma, for example, just hiding in the valley, he jumps in, and then you push with your entire team over there. It's like a really defensive way to push the middle, I think, but it's really effective. And if you're going big door, you're basically going onto the enemy side. So if you're coming up here, one soldier, for example, jumps on the point, the other guy jumps on those boxes, and you run with your demo man and your medic up here, and yeah, try to get control of this area. Sometimes you can deny those guys who are trying to go up here, but it's really, really important. Like probably the most important thing on the mid, that you call early where the enemy comes from. You know, are they coming big door? Are they coming choke? Are they trying to get up on your side? Are they going through the elbow? It's like really, really important, because sometimes you have people, you know, behind the point, in the elbow, who they just basically don't see anything. So you have to tell them where the enemy comes from. You know, you need to know if they come, if they just rush up here, or if they just take things slow. So always communicate that. Yeah, I think we covered everything. You know, there's like more pushes, more tricks and stuff like that, but I think I'm gonna cover the basics, all the pushes, all the holds. So yeah, that's everything you need to know about CP Gullywash. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I think I'm gonna do CP Snakewater next. Goodbye.